Hey everybody, welcome back to Truck Talk and Time with Jesus. I'm just going to dig into this. So, there's been a lot of comments on the last video I did saying that I'm pretty much racist and everything I'm saying is racist, and I don't really represent God because I'm racist. No, I was trying to make a point saying we need to stop the ignorance on all areas. I don't care what color you are. Ignorance is ignorance. Look it up. You know, it's the fact that what bothers me the most, I guess, out of it is the fact that when you're bringing up something, you're being called one of those types or something like that. Or, I mean, how would you feel if I walked around with a shirt and said "White Lives Matter"? But if you wear that kind of stuff, that the Black Lives Matter, what about everybody else? We don't matter? I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, why do we have to have such hate? And why do we got to have such ignorance in this world? Because we go off of American history that doesn't even have it right. Because if we got it right, then we wouldn't be living in this trash hole world that what we call the world. See, God didn't create this world to be like this. God destroyed it through the Great Flood. He gave us another chance. And look what we're doing to it. Destroying it with hate. Hating each other. Well, let's just say, let me just ask this, and then I'm going to go into the video, what I really want to do. Let's just say war breaks out here, okay? And all these people that think that their race is better than anybody else's race, I don't care if you're Japan, China, Asian, I don't care, well, maybe Asians, Japan, I don't really know. I honestly, I don't know. African American, white people, Caucasian people. I mean, I can go down the list of names, but does it really matter? Now, let's just say we're all stuck in a building, and people are coming in here, and you hear gunshots. Are you going to go outside of that room? Let's just say you're part of this Black Lives Matter movement and you're in a room with me. Are you going to leave the room because, or are you just going to kill me too? Either way, you're going to step outside that door where the gunfire is, or are you going to take a chance that you may survive in a room with a white boy? Now, we don't know what color skin's out there killing people. I mean, would it be racist if I said, well, I'm sure, I'm in here with a bunch of African Americans. If there's African Americans out there pulling that trigger, I'm in big trouble. Or if they're thinking it's a white people out there pulling this trigger, I'm in big trouble. Demons don't look at skin color. Just remember that. When demons get inside of someone's head, there is nobody safe. Okay? Nobody. In the end times, you will see this if you're left here. So that being said, there's been a lot of talk and a lot of people saying stuff about witchcraft and the demonic realms. And I talked to a guy the other day. He sent me his video and stuff, and I sent it off to another person, and one of the things he said was very interesting to me. He said that somebody asked him if they pretty much signed their soul to Lucifer. Well, I'm sorry, I think he said Satan. Can they be forgiven? Well, it doesn't say you can't, but it depends. I agree and I disagree, because all sins are forgivable. If you didn't know at the time what you were doing and you signed it, yes, I believe you still can. But there's a price you're going to pay to get out of that nonsense. If you even get out of it, because think about it. What's the chances of Lucifer allowing you out of a sealed contract? He'll either send somebody to kill you before you even get to that point of surrendering your life into Christ's hands, or he'll convince you that suicide is the best way to be. I've seen it happen too many times. I don't know too many people that actually has said they have signed a contract with Lucifer that has escaped it. Furthermore, are we talking blood signature or are we talking just an ink signature? Because again, I may be wrong on this, but I've spent a long time, many years in that lifestyle. I've never seen anybody seal a deal without blood. It'll be like saying in the end times, when it comes time to either take the mark of the beast, whether it's a seal or a chip or across your forehead, is that the same thing? I mean, are you going to be able to say, well, Lord, I was hungry and I did this and I'm repenting now? Read the Bible. It clearly states you free will did it. Your free will taking. Now, I don't know if too many people that haven't seen scary movies. I haven't seen too many people that haven't seen warlock movies, witchcraft movies, the movie The Craft, and I can go down actually movies, The Warlock. I mean, I can go down a numerous deal here. See, the difference is, if you go back and listen to the hell videos and stuff I did, and anything that I testified along the way, when I walked into the house, Sir said, there are some rules for you. And one of the rules, he says, I may never partake of the blood. I may never mix my blood with anybody else's blood. See, now where do those rules come from? Because that's why I was always curious what's going on in the basement. What's going on with this? Yes, I took part in going to get animals and doing that kind of stuff like that. Yes, I did some wicked, twisted things too. But let me tell you something. I never signed any contract in blood. I never signed a contract, period. I wasn't allowed. I was kind of like a little outcast a little bit, even in that household, because I was different. There's a reason why I believe I was spared. So you really got to take into consideration what people are telling you and how they're wording it, and what makes you an expert. You know, my thing is, you know, I mean, I went to the fact of making my eye for my pendulums and stuff like that. I put my own blood in it. You know, you could go in many different directions with all of this. But I also destroyed mine, so nobody could get my blood and mix my blood. That thing didn't leave me. It was with me everywhere I went. You know, when you dabble in tarot cards, Ouija boards, and all that kind of stuff, you're just going down a downhill spiral. So, we're at war. We got Israel. We got all these events taking place. The Bible speaks of all these things. But let me tell you something right now. The biggest part we need to be thinking about is what God is doing right now. God has opened a door. God has opened a door for his people. And I'm telling you right now, people, you think these elections, look at the last few videos I've been talking about. You know, God's the only one. He sent his son to pay the price. Our debt was paid. We were bought back from hell. You can believe what you want to believe. You have an opportunity to change your life. But let me tell you something. I've said it and I'll say it again. Donald Trump can't save us. Kamala Kamala, whatever her name is, however you pronounce it. I'm sorry, I don't mean to mispronounce someone's name, and I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to be funny here. I'm being serious right now. She can't save us either. Because let me tell you right now, I don't really care, iota, about the whole women's rights things and all this kind of stuff, and I'm not making it lightly on women. Don't get me wrong. You guys know my opinion on that. Everybody has the equal rights to do whatever you have. You have the equal rights to do any job a man can do if you physically can do it. The other day we were at a DC, and some two women team drivers came in, and a guy looked at me. He goes, somebody's probably should go over and help him, show him how to crank a handle. And I said, He goes, why? And I said, us doing something is never going to teach them. If you want to go over and explain that there's two speeds on that crank, then go ahead. I'm not. And he says, well, that's not very godly. Let me tell you right now, I'm not going into Satan's den. What does that mean? Are you going to walk over there with me? No. Well, then I'm not going. Where's my witness? If something goes wrong over there. I'm not putting my place in the devil's pathway. I've had it happen in the last 3 years. I'm not going into the devil's den. I knew what I was doing years back. Nobody understood it, but I did because I understood what God was having me do. Expose the truth. The separation. Because my prayers were heard. But it doesn't mean that things can't change. Anything can change. You got to be willing and waiting for it. So what does this open door mean? This open door means, now, I know you got to be very careful with listening to people's videos. You got to be very careful of what they're saying, how they're saying it, because you will hear people use the devil. The devil is a devil. So there's many devils. Many. The fallen angels, like I said with the pyramid, each legion has devils. They got 1,000 devils per legion. These are little peons that go all over. How do you think so many people get possessed with the same thing? How do you think so many people get possessed with theft and all these different things? And every quality, they hang out with the ones that are similar. So that being said, now you understand why we have so many people acting the same out there. Now, you can't say that a devil is going to God to basically plead his case for the 7-year tribulation so he can get started. First of all, you got it wrong. He's the Antichrist. And he's not a devil. You're sadly mistaken. You're looking at Satan, Damien. It's a big difference. Some always say Lucifer and Satan, the devil, it's all the same thing. No, it's not. It's totally not. You know, and honestly, I used to be very cautious about all this stuff, and I really didn't want to talk about names and all that. If you're foolish enough to start opening stuff up, and whatever happens, it's going to happen. Because if you're a fool and you open up the wrong things and you start looking at the wrong things, before you know, you got attachments, and you're going to witness some crazy stuff. Don't come at me and say I didn't warn you. I'm warning you right now. Leave it alone. I'm not trying to cover up anything. I've been on these videos for a couple years now, explaining the demonic realm to you. Stay out of it. Stay away from the movies. Stay away from all the stuff. Stay out of them stupid haunted houses. Stay out of that. Because let me tell you right now, they're getting more and more wicked. People, and I just seen a haunted house thing, and people were commenting on it. My gosh, this was so realistic. I couldn't tell if these people were in costumes or if it was actually real. What do you think is going to come out on Halloween? You know, because when you sit there and dab into trick-or-treating and putting masks on and put all this stuff on, you don't know what's walking next to you. You don't know what you're taking home with you. Because when you got, let's just think about this for a minute. You know, back in the day, we'd have these plastic masks like things, and they had a rubber band on it, and you just put it on and put the rubber band behind you. You put the plastic stupid little suit thing on, and depending on what it was, some of them have capes. You know, when I had my Darth Vader one, I put it on. It looked just like Darth Vader. It had that keypad looking thing on its chest, and I put the cape on and carried a lifesaver that was probably bigger than me. But the mask had the rubber band on it, and you put it on. Now let's just say somebody else, for some reason, they made more than one, because, wow, that doesn't make sense, does it? Well, because it's a business and it's a profit. The more they sell, the more money they make. So naturally, you're going to have more than one person walking around with that costume on. Now let's just say a demon manifests and goes into something, and it walking, and you think, well, hey, that's my brother right there, and I'm start walking with you, and all of a sudden I'm over there on the next street over, running as fast as I can to get as much candy as I can, and you think all along that, well, we're going to go home now, it's almost time to end. So you're trucking down the road, and you think you got your brother with you, and then all of a sudden you get home and you're not paying a bit of attention. You just welcomed something in your house because you have no clue of what you're doing. We got these churches doing trunk or treat. I'm against it. I'm solely against it. I'm totally against this abortions and all this stuff like this, because they want to go, their thing is with Trump is that Trump is against it. Okay, well, let me, you know, there is, if you're going to go out there and play around, to be responsible. If that baby's got a heartbeat, to me, you're a murderer. It's no different than these whack jobs out here allowing demons to get in their head and they're killing their kids. Yes, I said whack jobs because that's exactly what it is. It's a whack thing from hell. Because nobody in their right mind would go in there and eat their baby's fingers and bash their baby's head against the wall to start eating their brains. Nobody in their right mind would do that. And it's not a, I'm depressed. You're depressed because you're hearing demons. Depression is of the enemy, not of God. Worrying is of the enemy. Just like this port thing finally shut down. Well, I don't know about everybody else, but it lasted 3 days. And everybody's running out, and I said, do not panic, do not worry, but prepare. There's nothing wrong with preparing. You know, it blows my mind, the thoughts people come up with. You know, I'm just a simple person, and I sit there and I think about where we're at in life and what's coming. And I'm not on here for the numbers. You know, I can, honestly, if somebody walked up and said, I'll give you $1 million, you tell me how many followers are on this channel, I would lose it. I know Tracy said something a while back about how many was on here, but the only reason why I know the people that has the new subscribes and how many people that are not subscribed that watches the videos compared to the people are, the new followers compared to the old followers. New followers are watching these videos more than the old followers. It's okay. You know, because I've heard it. You know, you just keep talking about the same stuff over and over. I'm talking about the same stuff over and over because the Lord says you haven't got it right. Not me. Because if you really think I got all the time in the world to sit here and do these videos, you're sadly mistaken. I could be doing a lot of other things right now. So, we have this open door. You know, Satan is going on that rampage wanting this time to start. What you got to look at is this. Abortion kills. Why? Because they're trying to kill off mankind. When God calls his people, and them names are starting to be called out of that book of life, and if you're not called, many of you won't even be on this earth. You're going to be swept away to hell right from the get-go. The ones he's going to be coming after to take the mark of the beast are the very ones that are lukewarm, that still have a 50-50 chance. Either, you know, because starvation ain't going to kill you. Thirsty isn't going to kill you. You know, because, you know, you say you go without food and without water, but you're going to have the worst stomach pains and the worst pains that you have ever been through in your entire life. You're going to be out there gnawing on people. I've seen the visions, people. I've seen it. You don't have to believe me, but you'll believe me when you see it. You don't have to believe me about hell. You don't have to believe me about heaven. It's not my concern what you believe. I'm just delivering the messages. Either you take it or you don't. When you're left here and that end time comes, and they're going to tell you that people were abducted by aliens and all this nonsense, you're going to believe what you want because you're too busy sucked down watching these stupid movies, and these movies are leading you to a false truth. Lucifer is not stupid. The guy's very intelligent. He has conquered this world so far that was given to him. What did Satan say when he took Jesus into that 40 days of temptation? When he stood up there and said, look, as far as you could see, you bow down to me and I shall give you all these things that was giving to me. What started the first pride? What started the first hate? Well, you got to go back to Adam and Eve. When Adam was given all authority over everything on this earth. Well, that's just going to make a few people a little mad here, isn't it? It's like waiting on a promotion that you don't get, but somebody else gets it. Well, maybe you're not ready for it. Maybe God doesn't have it there. Maybe you're not even following God, and maybe your intentions are the wrong ways. Be thankful for what you have. So many people are wanting so much, and they're not appreciative of what they have. Lucifer's coming to rob, kill, and destroy you. He's coming with a vengeance. This election, we got it wrong. We have the power of prayer, but we don't use it. We have a power of prayer when we want to use it to make God an ATM machine. For God, I'm going to promise you. Broken promises, broken lies. They become lies when you break a promise. You become untrustworthy. Devils are devils. It's not so bad dealing with the devil, but when you start dealing with Satan, I mean, he's fifth in line, people. You got something to worry about. But you're also dealing with Satan. you're dealing with somebody that doesn't care. Satan is one of the worst demons, I think, there is to deal with. See, even Lucifer's a demon. Because they're demonic. But they all then fall in things underneath Lucifer. You notice Satan falls under Lucifer, not above him, not higher than him. Wouldn't that be something? Lucifer and Satan battles each other. I think that's what's going on outside here right now. There's too many people that are listening to people's channels, and I'm really convinced of this. And many people are profiting money off of these things, calling their stuff ministries and all this stuff. But you know, I bet you if you went on a lot of these people's channels and listened to what they say and really wait for all this to happen and tell me how much of it actually does happen. I'd be curious to hear the numbers of things that actually does happen compared to what doesn't happen. Because you want to believe what you want to believe. You want to sit here and watch these videos. You want to sit here and listen to all these people talk. For what reason? There's got to be something that's drawing you to it. Are you looking for the truth? Or are you just looking to see what someone has gone through? Now, I call people out sometimes because I know what they're saying isn't true, because I've listened to them speak their testimonies, and then I've heard their testimonies change, and then you start seeing them change. Then you see these people that put all these black backdrops and all this stuff in. I don't care what you do, it's your channel. You want to put a backdrop on, you want to put a flag up, you want to put a banner of something up, you want to put a gazillion crosses all over the thing, go right ahead, it's your channel, I don't care. It's not about that. I'm just saying, be you. Don't sit here and copy other people's stuff. Because I'm telling you, there's a lot of videos that get sent to me, and I start watching, I go, wait a minute, I think I've already seen this. I think I've already heard this. Doesn't mean that they're not hearing from God, but then I start doing what the Lord says. Test their spirits, test the fruits, test and see if it matches the Bible. Because if it doesn't match the Bible, then it's straight up from hell. But you got to know the difference. You got to know what the living word says to be able to keep yourself from falling into false prophets. The Lord said there will come a time when the false prophets shall rise. Well, we're seeing it. There's coming a time for the falling away from the churches. I believe we're there right now. I believe it's happening. I believe the Christian people have had enough, and they're stepping back, and they're going together, and they're praise and worship in their own homes. You said, what about fellowship? Well, you can fellowship anywhere you go. I don't need to go to church to fellowship. I don't need to go to church to praise and worship. I don't need to go to church to talk to my Lord. I don't need to go to church to talk to God. That is a building. We make up the church. But I tell you what, I'm examining the body that I'm connected with. I'm looking at the eyes, I'm looking at the nose, I'm looking at the mouth, I'm looking at the hair, I'm looking at the forehead, I'm looking at the skin, I'm looking at the head, I'm looking at the neck, I'm looking at the fingers, and every part of that body, and every member of that body that's a part of that living body. I'm paying attention, because I'm telling you right now, I'm not going to be part of a body that is wicked. You may say, well, Nelson, how do you realize that? Because you need to know the word. If Lucifer knows the word, and Satan knows that word, and they're able to twist the words to make you believe that they are biblical, the only thing biblical about them is the fact that they were there from the beginning. And what is said about Lucifer, he's a very prideful, very hateful entity. I'm not even calling him a person. I'm not calling him anything. He's an entity. So many people come against this channel in the last few months because I'm starting to dig deeper and deeper into subjects that the enemy doesn't want people to hear. You know, this open door, I believe. See, you got to understand, when we hear the Antichrist and it's confirmed who this person is, we're close. I believe it's knocking right now. Problem is, we're not letting Jesus in. Problem is, we're allowing God to be taken out of everything. We're allowing this world just to become sick, twisted in its own nastiness. We're letting men go into bathrooms, into showers. We're letting, it's... People, this is disgusting. Now, what about if your little girl goes into school and some guy goes in there and rapes her? She identifies, she, whatever, identifies as a woman and goes in there and rapes your child. I don't want you to get mad. Because if you're one of these people who are standing back saying, well, I don't see no wrong with it, because it always seems like whenever this stuff is brought to surface and there's a large crowd of people, they all say, I don't see nothing wrong in it. It's up to them to decide what they want to do. It's up to decide. It's not up to us to decide what we're going to say our children. We're going to leave the sex opened up on the birth certificate. You might as well walk up and smack God straight in the face. You might as well walk up and tell God you are the stupidest person that ever existed because you can't decide if that's a boy or a girl. They're going to decide on their own. So that makes them a God then, right? That makes them bigger than God? But why do you look like a guy, but you want to pretend like you're a woman? Because you want to go in the bathrooms and watch women undress and do that, and go into elementary schools and junior highs. And what do you think's happening in these places? But it's okay. It's okay. Because you're right. You got it wrong. So wrong. It's sad. It's really sad what's happening. It's really sad what's happening along the world right now. And so many of these channels and so much of the, and I'm not picking on her. God, I'm just using it for an example. God is my witness. That Mandy, remember how I came against her? And I said, you'll see her true colors here real soon. The longer she stays in that lies and she stays in that demonic realm, you'll see the true color. My gosh, people. I stumbled across her the other day on YouTube. The news feed came up there. Now, granted, it was about 10 or 11 months ago, I think, for her last video. It showed her laying in bed. It showed her all the guy that, all this stuff the guy that she's with now. And a couple of the videos, it looked like they were so stoned out of their mind. I'm telling you right now, it's disgusting. And the things that she was claiming, there's a false prophet right there. Because she was pretty much saying that, that she knows the time and all this stuff. You don't know nothing. The Lord don't even know the day or the hour. So how do you? Impossible. Totally impossible. It's scary. I mean, it's getting very scary. This world is getting so upside down, and all we want to do is argue and fight with each other. But we're going to need each other. If you're left here, you're definitely going to need all skin race. Don't let the devil, Satan, Lucifer, you hear the very things people don't want to speak in tongues. They call it demonic. That's your spiritual language that God gave you to communicate with Him. So how is it demonic? Many people don't want to use it because you don't understand it. You don't understand it because churches aren't teaching this. No communion. We're not going to baptize people. Then why was Jesus baptized? And why did he tell Nicodemus? I tell you the truth, unless you're born again and baptized in the water. How then do you want me to do that? I'm a grown man. How can I go back to my mother's womb and be born again? Because he ain't wrong. These videos aren't going to get any easier. Because when I start looking at that open door and I start knowing that the time's coming, I have this opportunity. I'm going to be going home. You better believe I'm throwing all this on the table. It's up to you. We're focused on this election. We're focused on what one person, what one candidate's saying, what the other one's candidate's saying. And to be honest with you, I don't agree with Harris, because the fact, just like everybody else has probably said, you probably heard it over and over and over, but I'm just going to say it again. What did they do for 3.5 years? Nothing but put us into lockdown. And pay out some more stupid stimulus money for this, for that. People are going, oh, they're the greatest ever. Because you're for sale. And the devil knows it. So does Lucifer. If I talk like that, is it starting to sound convincing? That bell's sounding, people. The bars are starting to come down, and the roller coaster is going to start moving. Are you ready? Jesus is coming to that bridge. He's coming to get his people. You got too many churches right now, and all of them putting all this nonsense on, and it truly is. They're getting it wrong. Again, it's up to you to be in that word. It's up to you to be studying that word and to know that word. So, that being said, I'm going to stop it there. I'm going to call this part 1. And I have a lot more on this. But I'm trying to keep them about 30 to 40 minutes. So, God bless you guys. Love you. Until the next one.